Nepal imports 10 times than what it actually exports. When these machines become cheaper than the migrant labor, the first one to be eliminated are the humans. It has become a huge challenge for the middle class to survive in this country. And now you might be wondering, how in the hell is Nepal even surviving with 90% trade gap? What would happen if the labor demand shrinked all over the world? Nepal imported goods worth rupees 1.45 trillion, and when it comes to export, it just exported goods worth rupees 157 billion. Every day 1500 people leave the country in search of foreign employment in Nepal, and when that's calculated annually, it's 50,000 people. It has become a huge challenge for the middle class to survive in this country, and that is the reason why we are witnessing the trend of foreign employment here in Nepal. We are witnessing a brain drain, a labor drain, and most importantly a hope drain. The low salary jobs and growing inflation has become the major contributor to this issue, and this is where remittance comes into the picture. Majority of unskilled workers dominate Nepali workforce abroad. But the question is, what happens if the global powers stop needing our labors? In an era where AI, automation and robotics are expanding and transforming the world at a great extent, what happens if these technologies, robots and automation starts replacing human jobs? Due to rise in AI, robots and automation in the countries like Japan, South Korea and some of the Gulf countries, they have already shifted massively in automating the low-skilled jobs. Robots are replacing warehouse workers, AI is replacing clerk, and construction tech is evolving. When these machines become cheaper than the migrant labor, the first one to be eliminated are the humans. And if this labor demand shrinks, Nepal loses its most important and valuable source of income. That's none other than remittance. There is a term called demand side, which refers to how much consumers are purchasing or spending on goods or services. This later creates demand in the economy and further tells us what kind of growth model a country is using. Now basically there are four types of growth models. Now the first type of growth model is the export led. This is a growth model where an economy or a country makes money by exporting the products or services built within the territory of the country. The second is the investment led. This is a growth model where an economy grows when the businesses and governments invest into infrastructures and projects. The third one is the consumption led. This is the growth model where the consumers of the country often spends into basic necessities like food, clothes, etc. Consumption led model often indicates a heavy reliant on imported goods. Now the final and the fourth one is the government spending led. This is where the economy of a country grows when government invests money into different projects, welfare and services. Now if this is very clear to you, let's understand where does Nepal stand in this growth model. Nepal is based on consumption-led growth model, means the economy is completely driven by the people spending their money on basic necessities, and this also indicates a heavy reliance on imported goods. In 2023, remittance contributed over 25% of nation's GDP. For example, if the total economy of a country is rupees 100,000 crore, then 25,000 crore is what we receive through remittance from the people working abroad. Surprisingly, the volume of remittance surpassed the combined inflow of foreign direct investment and official development assistance. Now, if you look at it from the economic point of view, remittance is the major reason why Nepal will hardly face foreign reserve crisis. Remittance is not only the backbone of our country, but it has also helped a lot of citizens of the country to get out of the poverty zone. So now if you see it from the individual perspective, remittance might seem no harm at all. But if you look from the broad economic perspective, too much dependency on remittance might harm the economy. Now why dependency is a trap? As I have explained to you earlier that Nepal is a consumption-led economy, which means 70 to 80% of money received through remittance are directly used for the consumption of basic necessities. Remittance allows the country to maintain foreign reserve, which is indeed a good sign from economic perspective. But as I dig deeper into this, I found that too much dependency on remittance can create imbalance between export and import. Nepal imports 10 times than what it actually exports. In fiscal year 2022-2023, Nepal imported goods worth rupees 1.45 trillion, and when it comes to export, it just exported goods worth rupees 157 billion. Now you might be wondering, how in the hell is Nepal even surviving with 90% trade gap? Now this is all due to the remittance, due to the people, citizens working abroad and sending money in the country. And this is the reason why remittance is considered as the backbone of our country. What would happen if the labor demand shrinked all over the world? There would be an economic catastrophe in the country. There would be restriction in the imports. there would be devaluation in the currency, and most importantly, it would be hard for the country to maintain foreign reserve. If Nepal were to balance the trade by reducing the imports, most of the consumable goods like pharmaceutical products, petroleum oils, or even food grains would massively face scarcity. Since we do not have our own oil reserves and we do not have a manufacturing capacity for the pharmaceutical goods in our country. Now, if you find my content really valuable, please do consider to like, subscribe, and share it among your friends. We'll see you on the next episode. Until then, bye bye.